Hello and welcome back to Farming Simulator 22, and this is chapter 3 of my beginner's guide to getting used to Farming Simulator. In this chapter we will focus on various machines and how they will help you to grow crops and eventually harvest those crops, as well as focusing on the grass work side of things for making silage, which I know has been a popular question. A very common question I've gotten is, how do you make silage on the basically inexpensive way, in the most inexpensive way? So we will look at that as well, but first thing we're going to do, we are at the shop here on the map, so I will show you on the map where we are. Right here, this is where we were. We are continuing on with the same sort of series, I guess, the same way. This has been harvested. They didn't actually finish in the last episode, so we will let them crack on with that. But what we're doing at the shop, so we'll just tab back, is we are going to collect a new bit of kit. Now, we are probably, for the sake of everything, we'll probably just lease it out, just to show you how that works as well. So, now that we are at the shop, we have two ways of accessing the shop. One is to press the letter P, at least on PC. This allows us to enter into the shop area, or there is a interactive zone, which if you turn them on, you'll see right over here. So we can go over here, press R, and we're also in the shop. This one over here is for repairing equipment or customizing equipment. So if you drive into this space, you can repair, customize, repaint, all sorts of different things for your machines. But for now, we're going to get a plow. So I do want to confirm, though, before we buy one, that the horsepower we have in this Massey is 170 horsepower. So if we go down to plows, which we did go through in the last episode, which, by the way, apologies on the audio. I don't know what's going on. I hope it's rectified now, but my OBS did something completely different, and I don't understand what it's changed with the audio, because in the last one it sounded a bit off. So hopefully it's not too bad, and hopefully this one's a bit better. And it's not just me sounding like I am sounding with the hay fever, but actual audio issues. So maybe a mix of both. Anyways, here we are in plows. We are going to dive a bit deeper into what they all do, but as you can see, 160 would be a push, so we are going to opt for this very small one, even though our other, well, we could actually put it on the Valtra, and then we would get 190 horsepower. So let's do that. We'll go for the slightly bigger one, and we're not going to be doing any of this ourselves. We'll probably, well, we can buy it for 16,000. Let's go ahead and buy it then. It doesn't really matter because we're just showing how it's done, really. So this is one thing that all of our fields did require, as I did show you. This is an optional thing. This is a setting that you can turn off. So, and I did show that a bit before as well. So if you look in the map menu here and you go to the soil composition filter, 40, 41 and 38, our three fields are all requiring plowing. But if you go to settings, you do have, these settings, you do have the option to turn that off. And then if you go back to your map, you'll see that they are no longer requiring it. So just for the sake of everything, I will show you the base things that you can do in the game, and then from there you can decide if you want to do it or not. That's kind of the whole point of doing it this way. So here we'll just get that, oh, I think it's getting rotated into transport mode. Brilliant. So we'll make our way back over to the farm. Now I know we've already cultivated this plot, but I'm going to do a bit of plowing in there as well, just to show you how it's done and what needs to happen after that. Because usually when you plow, it does require lime to be put on, but instead of showing you how to do the lime, I'll probably focus more on how to do fertilizer, because that's increasing the fertilization and it is showing you the same process. So I will show you the specifics between the kit. I kind of did that in the last episode as well, the one focusing on machines, but this one we're going to show the processes involved in creating a field, basically, of something. So here we are at the field. Now, I always do forget which way the real plowing is supposed to go. I feel like it's the other way. This just doesn't feel as right. But can we put it the other way, though? So with this one we can fold it, or we can rotate it as well. So maybe that is what we want to do. But again, I'm not certain. I always forget which way is which. But that's fine. For the sake of the video, I'm just going to start them off. The whole point is that you are ploughing in the ground, and you'll see a texture change as well. So I will just stick the helper on for that one. Brilliant. And you'll see the texture change, and it's brought up some more stones, bigger stones. So if I'm not mistaken, we might even see some red coloured stone, orange coloured ones, yeah. So they're changing from yellow to orange, because the deeper they are, the more colour they are. So if they're red stones in this category option, then are there any on the map? There are not. Then that means they absolutely have to be picked out. The orange ones, I believe, is on the fence a bit. It could be needing picking out, or could just be rolled back in. But here we are going to look at this now. It shows that it's been ploughed. Even though it's been cultivated, it's fine. We are going to do that, but you can see that the ploughed state is removing, going away. So that's very good. Don't know what's going on here. I'm going to let it just sort itself out, but it is ploughing the ground. So that's something you can do if you want to keep that option enabled. Over here we have our other tractor is all done. So I will show you another bit of crop work that needs to happen. So everything here has been drilled, so that's very good. So we'll take this back up to the farm, drop the drill off, and then we'll head back over to the shop to collect a baler so that we can get that straw all sorted as well. Now this is the very basics of how to kind of get started. We've already done it. So here we're starting with the ploughing. Now you can do mulching as well, and the time that you would do it, if I'm not mistaken, would be before you plough, because you want to mulch in that ground and then plough it. But it does seem like a bit silly to do both, but again, because our fields do require a ploughing, it might as well do the mulching and then the ploughing as well. So like I say, I'm not going to do the mulching in this because it is as straightforward as the ploughing or the cultivating. You literally just have to do it. You just put the tractor in and go. So that's very good. But with baling, there is a bit more to it. So we are going to head to the shop here and we'll buy a baler. Alright, here we are at the shop. So now we'll just enter the shop menu here, hitting the P key on our keyboard. We'll go down to balers. Now, as I said in the last episode, they all have different functionality. Some of them do, at least. This one's very small bales, so we don't really want to do that. Personally, I prefer to have the bigger bales the better, and a very good starting baler, I think, personally. So we do have this one, which is really nice, but it only does 125 centimeter bales, which are rather small. So I can actually show you the difference of them. In fact, I can do that right now with the help of my handy so this is a mod. It's called something developer commands or something like that, where you can do easy development something or other, and you can spawn in bales, you can do all sorts of things, you can run faster as well. It's really good for helping with the series, doing the series and stuff, but also for testing. I really enjoy it for testing. So you can spawn a log in, there you go, isn't that nice? Bring a bloody log. Oops. But what we're after is I want to show you the varying sizes of bales. So let's go with the round, and we'll go with hay just to show you, or straw actually is fine. So that's one, that's the 150, so 125, 150, and then the 180 size. So you can see, right, I don't know why they are different colors here now, but anyway, so this one, as you can see, in straw, it's because it's grass. I didn't change it to grass, did I? Straw. There we go. Silly. Right, so ignore those ones. Oh, and that one as well. So yeah, as you can see, oh, did I do the same thing again? Anyways, we've got these two sizes. They are, so this is the 125 size, so it's 5,000 litres of straw, and this one is 7,500 litres of straw, and it is the 150 size. And then if we do it properly and get the proper size 180 in straw, just to compare all of them properly. Oh, come back here. There we go, that's 11,000 litres. So there, that shows you the difference in them there, to show you how different they actually are. So that's the 125 size, that's the 150 size, and that is the 180 size. So one thing to remember, that's literally double the size of the small one. So one thing to remember is that you might not have enough for, like if you get really big bales and you have really small field, it might be too much, right? You might want to go for the medium size or the small size depending on the size of your area. But the nice thing about this baler that I want to show you is that it can do all three sizes. So it goes 125 all the way up to 180. So we are going to opt for it. The only difference is it doesn't have a wrapper on the back. Now a wrapper on the back is something we'll look at shortly, because that's how you would do one of the ways to do silage. But we are just going to get this one for now. You can change your wheel brands, do all what you want, and buy it for 57,500. So we are running low on money now, it would seem, so we might have to pull a loan, and that'll be a good opportunity to show you how that works as well. So really the main point of this video is to show you the core features of the crop work and silage making. So that's what this episode is meant to be about, which is why I wanted to show you the bales as well there. You know, this is actually a really nice tractor. I can't say I think I might have used it early on, but it's really nice for a nice, it's inexpensive and fairly powerful for a small tractor. It's really nice. Yeah, I quite like that. Yeah, I've recently just, well, over the past, I guess, few months at least, sort of had a realization that I like Valtra tractors, and that is a Valtra, so there you go. Yes, they are quite nice. Yes. Right, so as you can see, the ploughing is a very long and slow, tedious sort of process, which is why some people do opt to turn it off, to disable it. But it is getting done at least, so that's really good. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of periodic ploughing. I don't mind ploughing for roleplay purposes, but yeah. Anyways, here we are back at the field. So this was a wheat field, and as you can see, it has dropped down the swath of straw. So this swath is what we're going to put into the baler, and if you look at the control menu here, we have change bale size. It is at 125. We're going to put it all the way up to 180 to the biggest bale size, because I think if we do that, we might get like 3 big bales or 4 big bales, we'll see. So we lower it down and we fire up the baler and we're off. So now we're officially collecting some straw. You can see the number at the bottom there is going up and up. I should have probably opted for a smaller bale size, but we'll see how it goes. And then any leftover in the baler can be used again for the next time you do something. So if you happen to have 25% in the baler and you're out of straw, you obviously can't do any more baling, so you have to just keep it in there until the next time. Till the next time you use the baler. Right, so we might get like 3 big bales. That'd be alright though. I at least want to get 1. Because that is, yeah, at least to kind of give you an idea, show you what it's all about. But yeah, this is the job that you want to do. Now, another thing about baling, you can't put a helper on. Right, it goes straight to the helper menu. It doesn't actually start the helper. So that is because baling cannot be done by a helper. Now, there are mods that can sort of work around that. If you know, you've got to kind of set them up a bit, but for the most part, baling is a job that I tend to do myself all the time, and I do recommend doing all the jobs. I do recommend ploughing a field on your own and sort of getting a feel for it, because it might be a job that you enjoy. You never know what jobs you like, but baling is one that you cannot hire a helper for, so keep that in mind as well. Now we have 94%, so the baler will start beeping at us to tell us, warning, you are nearly full. So we will slow down, and there we go. We've gotten our first bale. Let it do its thing, and once it closes, you can start collecting straw again, which is absolutely brilliant. We're not going to though. I just wanted to show you the one bale. So as you can see, it's 11,000 litres of straw, so it's a very big bale indeed. So that is how baling of the straw goes. Now, we can look at picking up the bales, sort of. I feel like that's a different sort of video. I mean, we could show it, but yeah, just trying to think what would be the best thing. So we have the plowing, we've seen cultivating, all those kind of jobs are very similar. If you were to put it in a sort of a list of what you need to do, if we look at the map in this case, if this was how I started the map, right, see it's missed a bit there, that's no good. If I had started the map this way, and I had all the settings set to on, I would probably, first thing, would be to... I wonder if you can mulch this field now. That's what we're going to try first. Before I say what I'm about to say, I'm going to get one of our tractors, yeah, we'll just use this one, down to the shop. I'm going to buy a mulcher, and we're going to test something out and learn about it together. Right, so here we are in the mulchers category, and we are going to go for, let's see, 130 horsepower I think would be good. This one as well, but let's go for, we have the big weight on, so let's go for this one. And that's all our money gone. So what I think we'll have to do is, right, that's gone. Oh, that might be a front mulcher as well. That's why it's facing the other way. But we are going to put it on the... Oh, I don't have the weight on. Where's my weight gone? Strange. Right, well, I must have put it down somewhere. Anyways, let's go back to the farm now, to that field, and we'll see if we can get some mulching done after ploughing. Alright, we have the weight back on and we're at the field, so what we'll do is we'll unfold the mulcher. And I really quite like this mulcher. It's a nice size. I think this would be the one that I would use on my next series that I use it on, really. So we are going to lower the mulcher down and start mulching and see what happens. Right, not a bloody thing seems to be happening. So, what that tells me, because again, I'm learning this as well. I've never used the mulcher, so you can see that it did the very edge of the field, but what's been ploughed won't mulch. Ah, here. Up here we have a bit that was not ploughed, that was missed. Does that get mulched? Right, if that does not get mulched, then we are going to go over to the what was a wheat field and see if that works. So what we need to do, that tells us straight away. Step 1, immediately after you harvest, is to mulch the field. Simple as that. So you'll see how it will change here. Now that we've harvested, and I mean ideally you would get all the straw out of the field, so once the baling is done, then you'll come into the field and you'll get that nice mulched texture there. Oh yes, now that is what we wanted. That is what we were after. Look at that. So this you can see is a different texturing now, different color, and now this is what it looked like. So as you can see, all the little bits have been sort of shredded and put back in to the ground, and it's done a beautiful job and it looks very nice. So if we look at this and we get rid of, so you can click on these to remove them so you can see underneath the levels as well. If you do disable stones, this will just be gone. If you get rid of needs plowing, that whole filter will be gone. So on and so forth. So we have the lime as well. Usually after you plow you need to lime, so that's something there. We can show that like I said, but we'll keep it off for now as it is very bright. So if you get rid of plowing, you can see it has been mulched. So the only time you can really mulch is immediately after you harvest, really. So yeah, we are just going to tuck this to the side as well, because I just wanted to give a quick demonstration on that, and that is now done. So with that done, I feel like I can go through the steps now of what needs to be done. So the first thing you want to do, if I owned this farm, I would probably want to first plow. So as I'm doing with this tractor now, with the Massey Ferguson, is plowing. The next thing I'd want to do is I would follow up with a different tractor and do the cultivating. Now, the game starts you out with cultivating that field, which I believe truthfully to be a bit misleading, considering the fact that if you wanted to, you could plow it up first, because it is a default setting. So that's why I went through the settings first in my very first video, because it is important to know how you're playing the game, right? To make sure it's a way you want to play it. So like I would say plow this first and then go in and cultivate, and you'll see here how the ground texture will change as well. See, it goes to a nice round. Okay, so these stones should be... Right, let's stop that there. Should be taken out. So you know what we're going to do? We are going to... I'm just showing all the processes of the field work, really. So here we are. We have very little money, so we are going to borrow some money from the bank. We are going to be paying sort of a loan and the interest on it. So let's just say we take out 50,000. I don't often recommend. So I mean, you can also lease equipment. We don't have to buy the stone picker, but in this instance I think I'm going, well, I'll lease it out so that we have enough money. I can always add more money in or loan. I'm just trying to get a real feel for the map without adding in some money. So this would be one I would probably want to lease out, nice big one, but just for the sake of the video and that, I will get this little fella. So let's lease that out for 1,275 euros, so it's much less than had you bought it, but you don't own it at the end. So it does break it down. Base cost is 500. Per workday is 250, so ideally you want to get it done in one workday, otherwise you'll be charged another workday. And then per hour, that's extortionate. 525. The per work hour cost on a lease is very, very mental. It's way expensive, but something else to keep in mind. So don't faff when you're doing your jobs, because you don't want to do that. So I think we'll take this tractor and we'll head it back over to the shop, and we'll just pick up the stone picker really quickly, and then we'll come back and show you how it's done. Alright, we're back in the field now, and we will get this unfolded. So we hit X to unfold it, and we will lower it down, so pressing V, the V button, and I think you do have to activate this. You do turn it on, there you go. So as you can see, it will start collecting stones. Now normally, as I say, this is for the big ones. The ones, see, it's been ploughed, and it will actually leave a cultivated state. But yeah, see these big ones here from the ploughing, they should come up straight away. Beautiful. So there you go. So as you can see, you don't get very many stones, so it does collect rather slowly, but it does collect them, and they're in there somewhere. There you go, the 21 litres that we've collected, 29. So yeah, if you're going to use or keep stones enabled, you want to use them after ploughing especially. You don't necessarily have to use them after cultivating, because those stones can sometimes be pushed back in with a roller, but we will look at that shortly here as well. Actually in that field we'll look at that. So that's stone picking, as simple as that. And if we do have a look at the map now, you'll see that the stones are gone from there, and yeah, and they're gone. That's simple as it can be. We will move over to this side here. You can see though that it has been cultivated as well. So where we were stone picking, the ground does become cultivated. So this is one way you can avoid cultivating a field after you plow it, is by just simply stone picking instead. So you'll see the texture appears. So that's one indication that it is cultivating, but also on the map you can see it's got the cultivated thing there. So that's pretty good to know, I reckon. So we will just leave that there. Now again, as I said, the next thing we want to do is go back to the shop and show you about rolling, and then after that we can move on to some other things, because that is pretty much it. You've seen it, and again, I know some of this information can seem a bit scattered, but the gist of getting started is pretty much that. You want to make sure that after you harvest, you mulch your field. Then you want to plow it if it requires plowing. Again, it is optional because you can turn it off in the settings. Once you've plowed, you can go ahead and stone pick. Again, optional if you have it enabled. If you don't have it enabled, then you can move on to cultivating. Some people will drill or plant straight in after plowing, but if you cultivate, it gives you that nice cultivated state, which does help to improve the yield, I think. But again, it can come down to preference, because you can also direct drill, which skips cultivating. So you do kind of have the option there for cultivating. If you've already ploughed, feel free to drill straight in. So we are here for a roller. Due to the price, we are just going to lease it for £2,000. There it is. Now this is a useful tool if you have stones enabled. It will push all the small ones down. Oh wow. Is it that heavy? Wow, okay, that's fine. At least we're on our way. Right, so continuing that list, as I say, so you plow and then cultivate. Again, some of these are optional, but this is kind of the gist of the way that it goes. Once you've cultivated, now this can be a time to... You can also apply your lime in between this time. Probably after you plow, before you cultivate, or at least after you cultivate before you drill in. So that's probably would be the best for that. Here, I'll go to the far field there. And then fertilizer, you can essentially put it on any time, but you do have to be cautious of the fact that sometimes the crop has grown too much where you can't drive in with regular wheels. Now that does feel like potentially another, if not another video, then at least another time to talk about it. Alright, so looking at this field, it does need to be rolled, because if you look at the map as well, and you go to soil composition, under needs plowing, it says needs rolling. So we can lower this down, give you an idea of how that works. So once it's down, you can start rolling, and it does change the ground texture as well to a much darker, well, not much darker, but a bit darker, but a more defined roll. And then, yeah, at the right angle, you can clearly see it's actually a lighter brown. But yeah, you can still make it out a little bit. And when you go to the field itself, it says needs rolling. You hop over here, needs rolling has been removed. There you go. So as far as the stones go, we can hop into this field and I'll show you how that works with the stones. So for example, this area here has been cultivated but not plowed. So we are going over, I will go over both sections actually, one being plowed and one not, and you'll see that it just rolls it really nice, but those stones, the orange ones, are too big. They're too big to be rolled down, they have to be picked up out of the ground. See the ones here in the cultivated side? They are disappearing. Here, watch this one right there. That one will disappear. There you go, see it's gone now, whereas the one behind on this side has not. So these do have to be picked up if you have stones enabled. So after you plow, I recommend doing the stones. Once the stones are gone and dealt with, then do your lime, spread your lime, which I can actually show you right now. We'll go into, nope, that's the wrong thing. Go into fert spreaders. Go into, so again, we only have two options really, so you'll get the Bradle, the smaller one of the two. We'll just get it the base. You can extend it to hold more. You can also get wider spreading discs so that it can go 6 meters more, so 12 to 18, but we'll just keep it very base level, lease it out. Right, so you would, oh, sorry helper if I bothered you here. So we'll just leave the roller here. It's just folding up. Yeah, so we'll head down to the shop, we'll collect our lime spreader, at least I can kind of show you how that works, and then we'll crack on. Right, here we are with our spreader, so we will get connected to it, very good, but we do also have to buy the lime that goes in it. So we will go to this category just below, and it's under objects, so there are big bag pallets, but I always buy by the big bag as well. It's just cheaper in the long run. Lime is very inexpensive, but it does require quite a bit. So this particular machine, this is a good thing to consider as well. If we go to the items here to see, it holds 9,000 litres, so we can buy 9,000 litres worth of lime. Well, actually, we can only buy 8 or 10 because of the bags. There are 2,000 litres, but let's just go for now with 2, just to show you kind of how it works, and it's saying so it's not too heavy for the tractor. So now that we've stood, see how close it is there, we can get into the tractor, and if you look at the controls, you have R to refill fertilizer spreader. So if we do that, we can actually start loading it into here from there. The other option is to load it with an actual loader. We might as well just buy one just to show you. So I'll get a forklift just to kind of give you an idea. We'll get that leased as well. There we go. So if we wanted to, this is something that I've done in my realistic series, is to, well, my Deutschland series, where I'm playing realistically at least, where you can actually lift the things up. Now, unfortunately, the forklift doesn't really work for loading it onto this. Unfortunately, it just doesn't go as much. You can load it onto a trailer with this, but yeah, so in this case, we're probably going to have to use the R button and just get it filled up that way. Very good. Now, exact same thing for putting in fertilizer, because if we look at it, it does do lime and fertilizer. So if we go back to objects, go to big bags, there you go, you've got two. These are just different brands, don't worry, they're the exact same thing. You can see by the symbol that they're the same. This one is seed, this one is lime, this one is wheat for chicken food, so on and so forth. So yeah, you can get either of these that you want. You load it in, buy it, great, it's at the shop. We can't put it in here because there's already lime. So what you need to do, and I'll show you this right now as well, is you need to find an open space and look at your controls. Now, more times than not, it's going to be I for PC. You hit I and it unloads them. It unloads what was in there. This goes for seed drills, planters, fertilizer spreaders. The only thing it doesn't work with is manure spreaders. It doesn't work with slurry spreaders, water, anything like that. It also doesn't work with potato planters. You can't get the potatoes out of the planter once they've been put in. So yeah, just something to consider. Right, we're just going to get these shifted back in. Yes, they do. By default, they come out in the big bag format. Again, there's a mod that you can get to change that, but it's okay. Anyways, we'll fill this back up again, and we'll see you in the field. Alright, we're just going to pick a random part of the field and start spreading. So you just literally turn on the machine, you don't have to lower it or anything, or open anything up, you just start spreading. So as you can see, it's going very quickly, it's going down very quickly, so we are going to stop it, and I'll show you exactly, and be careful, when you stop it still sprays out. So if you stop to turn around, turn it off, or you'll waste it. And you don't want to do that, because even though it's inexpensive, it goes very quickly. But I want to show you what that's done to the map. So if we go to soil composition, and so under needs lime, if we remove the plowing feature, oh right, we've already plowed, so you can see it now says it doesn't need lime. So if you have that option set to on, you will plow, then you will lime, and I can put this potentially into sort of the description or something, type it out possibly. If I forgot to do that, please call me out on it as well. But yes, we you can see here with the lime, so it's nice to see that it does go away. And the next thing we want to show you is fertilized state. So as you can see, it is not fertilized here. It does say needs lime still, but that's for the rest of the field. What I'm going to do now is bring down that bag of fertilizer and show you how that looks on the map. Alright, so for this, we want to imagine that the whole field is limed out. Now we're going to take our fertilizer and we're going to fertilize. As you can see as well, the width is a lot more for fertilizer with the same machine. So that's something else please do keep in mind. But as you can see, it always makes sense to lime first. Oh, whoops, I've got my fast speed on here. But yeah, it always makes sense to lime first so that when you do fertilize, you can really see the difference. And this makes sense as well. I would say for base game, for using the base game settings and all the default settings, I would say that yes, you want to lime and then fertilize and then plow, or and then cultivate. So that's kind of the order of things. I will again put these in as a bit of a sort of a description caption, or maybe in the video itself. We'll see. I've just said so many different things. I know it's a bit of a jumble, but it's all the information is there, so I'll try and lay that out a bit better as well. Anyways, you can also see there's a lot of a darker area there as well, so that does show as well where you fertilized, but same thing, even if you stop moving, it will still spray out fertilizer, so you don't want to waste it. Right, now, to be completely honest, I think that is the gist of the arable side of things. As far as drilling goes, like we did drill with the Valtra before into this field, at the very end of that process, once this is all cultivated and ready to go, then you can go and drill in, and then you will go and do your rolling. So that's kind of the order of things that you need to do. In the next month, this field will show weeds, and that's when you need to get a weeder in, which is something that we can, I guess I could show you as well. Yeah, actually let me set that up and I'll show you what the weeds look like. Alright, well I wanted to show you kind of what the weeds do look like. So as you can see I am driving over them and they are destroying, but we also have here a weeder. So we'll lower that down and you'll see that with the weeder it takes out the very small weeds. Now, something to remember is that in this C it says weed small weeder. So that is why we're able to use this weeder in this field. I did just populate these weeds so that you can see how they look, but if I go back in and populate them even more to be, right, if I find the right menu here. Now these, you can see, oh, it still says small, but some of them show as large. Now it did automatically skip one of them to show as... I was hoping to show the medium-sized ones, but basically the medium-sized ones require something called a hoe. Now if you go under weeders, it does show here, weeders pull out small weeds, like I explained before, and hoes pull out small and medium grown weeds. So if it says medium, you can use a hoe to get rid of both, but for the large weeds, which you can see here, we will require a sprayer. So again, same exact concept as everything else. I will show you just what it looks like, not necessarily the whole purpose of it. This one is a backpack spray. You'd put this on the front, this on the back, but we will opt for, I don't know, one of these here. We'll go for this one here because it looks nice, and we'll get it leased out. And we'll also go to the pallets here, because this is where you buy your fertilizer, liquid fertilizer, and herbicide. So again, same thing, just different brands, that's all it is. So for this job, we need herbicides. So you do want to make sure it has the right icon. This one is for fertilizing, liquid fertilizing. This one is for weeds. So we'll get that hooked up and show you what it looks like. Right, so as you can see, the sprayer is unfolding, and we do have herbicide in. We do have 2,000 litres in, that's what the big IBCs, those big white containers, do hold. And as you'll see, when we... oh my, why is it... right, that's a bit funny. Anyways, as you can see, it does work at least. So you see that they are turning brown and they are literally disappearing. It does work for the smallest weeds, it works for the biggest weeds, it works for all weeding. So for the biggest weeds you actually have to have a sprayer, but for the smallest ones you don't. And you do want to get into the fields before they are at the too big of a stage. Right, you've got me running again. So okay, we need to get rid of this. I'm just going to return the sprayer here. It's a bit annoying. It's going to be flopping about. And there we go. So yeah, that shows you how the sprayer works. The same with the fertilizer. You just drive over the area. And something I would have liked to have shown is that you can adjust the sprayer's width, I guess. So at the largest width you're spraying the full amount, obviously. With Control Z you will want to double check your commands, but if you open up the controls menu like I do here with F1, again on PC, I don't know what it is on console, that will show you all of the controls of that particular thing that you are driving. So with the tractor, and then you can switch to a different implement using G, and as you can see the names of the controls and that will change. I've said this a few times, but just to reaffirm that. So that pretty much just show all of the basics of the arable side of things. Now of course you just have to wait. So with fertilizing you do have to do it twice. So as you can see, we did one time. So you go over the whole field one time with the fertilizer, and then the next month you can do it again. You can get it done again, which is really grand. Really, really nice. So that pretty much, though, does say everything we wanted to get said about Arable. Now I know it was a bit scattered, as I've said, but we've got all the steps sort of listed out that we did. I will run through them one more time as well. So when you're starting your field work and you want to maximize what you're doing, what you'll want to do first is in the field that you've harvested, you want to mulch. That will give you a bonus yield of 2.5%, around 2 to 3%. Once you've done the mulching, you can go in and, if the field requires it, you can plow. So in this case, this field, as you can see, it does say needs plowing. So for this field, now that I've harvested it, of course I'll get all the straw out, I'll bale all of this up, I'll get mulching done, then I'll do my plowing. Once the plowing is done, it will require a lime application So he did show you how to do that as well. Once the lime has been applied, you can go ahead and put on fertilizer. Now, please do remember, you don't have to use the solid fertilizer. You don't have to use this icon. You can use a fertilizer spreader to use solid fertilizer, or you can use a muck spreader, a manure spreader, to spread cow poop. Right, there's many sizes. They get very big. They get very, very big. Or you can use slurry, which is liquid cow poop. Some of these are shuttling only. You do have to read the descriptions. So this one can spread slurry, but this one transports it only. Same with that one. These are also transportation, but here's some of the bigger ones as well. So there are a few of them. Now those are what you would get from cows, having byproducts of cows, which we'll look at in a very different video. So yes, the thing continues. We do our liming, we do our fertilizing. Then you can go in. You have two options: cultivate the field. Once it's cultivated, you can do a shallow cultivation to give yourself a nice seed bed. From my understanding, it might give you a bit of an extra yield, but I really haven't seen it. So you can cultivate and then drill or plant. Then, after that, or the other option is, instead of drilling after cultivating, is you do a direct drill, which I did describe in the last video as well, where you don't have to do any previous field work to it. You don't have to plow or cultivate. You can just drill straight in to the field. So I could go right now and drill into here, but I'd be missing a few vital steps to increase the yield of the field itself. Once you have the drilling or planting done, you can go over it with a roller to get that extra 2 to 3%, and at the end of it you should have a 100% fully yielded field, which is really, really, really grand. Now, if anyone wants to see any of this in action, please view any of my series. I do drilling and cultivating and all that all the time. All the yield improvements, all the field preparations, all in all my series. This is really just a sort of a video to get things started. Now, I know I did say that I was going to do silage in this video as well, but it has turned into an arable only video. In the next video, though, that will be a silage focused video, I promise you that, where we look at the options for using arable for silage or using grass. Now this one, because arable there's so much, we can use a lot of what we learned in this video for the next one for making silage, but we're going to look at the different ways of doing it. And again, the equipment that I've shown in this particular episode or this chapter is all viable for this farm. You know, the stone picker, you don't need the biggest one. Same for the roller. I mean, this is the smallest one they have in the base game, but again, that's why mods are very nice, and that is something that we'll look at in the future as well. So yeah, I think this has been a good one to cover all of the arable work that you can do and the steps needed and the equipment needed as well. If we have a quick look at all of our different things that we can do, we pretty much used all the ones we can for arable. So showing the mulching, when you need to do plowing, cultivating, again as I explained in the last video, disc harrowing, power harrowing and subsoiling have all their benefits, whether it's more weeds or more stones, but again you can look in the help menu for that. Same with spaders. And then we move on to seeders and planters. So those you either you drill in your canola, your wheat, your grass, or you plant in your sunflowers, sugar beets, that sort of thing. Then you roll over the field, and in between there you use your sprayers for fertilizer, or your fertilizer spreaders for lime as well. And then you've got your weeding that happens in the coming months, and so on and so forth. The rest of this is either for grassland work or other things. So that is pretty much it. We did show in the first episode about the harvesting, and that in itself is also fairly self-explanatory. You want to fill a trailer from the harvester and then take the harvest to your silo. Now, of course, many maps are set up a bit different, but the concept remains the same. So yeah, I'm very pleased with this one actually. Got lots done in this one. I do apologize that we didn't get silage covered in this episode or this chapter. It was my intention, but you know me. If you've seen any of my videos, you know I tend to ramble on. So hopefully some of my rambling is coherent enough for someone to get the help that they needed when starting out with our favorite game, let's be honest. Right, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, a cheeky thumbs up really does help out the channel, and please subscribe if you're new. And any feedback you want to throw into the comments, or gently place them, you don't have to throw them, into the comments section would be greatly appreciated. Let me know what you think of the beginner guide so far. I don't know how many chapters I'll end up with, but at least a few to kind of give people an insight, as it can be a bit of a complex game, especially when you do incorporate some of the mods and all the base settings and that as well. So anyways, enough rambling from me for today. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next one, please do take care, and bye for now.